Hi, my name's Amanda Needham, and I'm the Managing Director of the Telly Awards. I am super excited to welcome everyone today to our third Throughline event of the season, the Vertical Video Revolution. I'm about to bring onto stage two very exciting and sort of venerable people from Real Short and Crazy Maple Studios. But before we begin, just a little bit of housekeeping. This is going to be a 30-minute conversation or so with two of the leads from their team. And I'm going to hold about 10 to 15 minutes at the end for questions. There are over 400 people who are on this event joining in from various parts of the world. So we are very excited to hear what all of you also have to think. So if you have comments or questions or things that come up throughout the course of the conversation, you can just drop them in the comments section on LinkedIn or wherever you're joining from. And my team will put them up on screen at the end, and our participants will be able to answer them. There's also a small QR code on the bottom left of the screen that'll pop up at different times, mostly at the beginning and the end. If you scan that, it just gives us your name and email, and we'll send you any follow-up materials that folks mention or information about categories if you're interested in entering the Telly Awards and want actual help from my team. So give that a snap now or at the end. And just so you know, the Tellys are open for entries through February 20th. So that's one of the reasons that we're having this, because we've got some new categories in vertical video this year as well. Just a bit about the Tellys and what we're doing here. So the Tellys honors excellence in video and television across all screens. We accept work from branded content to online shows and series, commercials and marketing, social video, and new this year, we have categories in vertical video and more. And one of the things we see at the Tellys, having received work from so many walks of life and verticals in our industry, is that we really have a bird's eye view of trends and activities sort of that are percolating across the board. And so one of the things we do, and this year we've done one each month, is this Throughline conversation series where we bring in experts to hold really pointed conversations about some of those trends we're seeing. We've done it on brand and women's sports. We've done it on how to build a production company with a music video emphasis. And today we're going to meet with Real Short and talk about their commitment to vertical first content, which is really sort of changing the way Hollywood and brands are actually embracing production today. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome the folks from Real Short. So Real Short is a short form video streaming app for those who aren't familiar, and it emphasizes bite-sized micro dramas with fast-paced plots. So Crazy Maple Studio is the California-based company that owns the platform Real Short. They are the largest producer of vertical video in the domestic US space. As of today, I just checked the stat. They are one of the top 10 Apple Store downloads in entertainment, higher than Disney, and they're the top free entertainment app on Android, above Prime Video and Netflix for mobile streaming. So let's bring on Rachel Ben Cosme. Rachel is the head of PR at Real Short. She drives the platform's global presence and manages strategic partnerships and develops strategies that strengthen the connection between brand and audience. And also Jocelyn Zhao, who is an executive producer at Real Short. Jocelyn leads production across the US and international markets, and she oversees original and commissioned projects, physical production, and cross-border workflows. So Jocelyn and Rachel, I'm so excited to have you guys on today.
Hi, everyone. So excited to speak with you guys. And thank you so much, Telly, for having us. We're so excited for this conversation.
Absolutely. Us as well. So one of the things we like to do to kick off these events is our theme this year is Capture the Original. It's about both the changes as well as the creative inspiration behind what we do. So tell us a little about what is original. We sort of have a prompt question. Tell us what's original about Real Short from both of your perspectives, like a business perspective, Rachel, and then sort of like an execution or creative perspective, Jocelyn, just to frame it for us.
Yeah, I'll start. So I think everything is new about Real Short. It's just such a new market. So everything that we're doing is impacting entertainment in every sector, from a writing, from a producing, even from a PR perspective, a marketing perspective, operations. We're really impacting everything. So it's very unique in every perspective that you look at. And I think that's what's fun. I think that's what's fun about what we're doing. And we're excited to bring that into this conversation.
You're building a playbook, really, is what it is, and that's like it's exciting and it's also like unwritten. What
Yeah.
about your perspective, Jocelyn, from a production standpoint? What's original about what you do?
I like the phrase that saying that we're the new kid in town because we are just literally navigating a totally new storytelling format and this innovative production environment for like overall Sophisticate.
All right. So for those of you who don't have the app or are not fully familiar with what a microdrama or vertical video is, we're going to show a short reel, which is just like a mashup of like, I think there was over 150 series you guys put out just last year. We'll talk about it in a moment, but let's just watch a few of those spliced together to give folks a sense of what this looks and feels like.
Kingsley, let's break up.
I'm just trying to help you get revenge. Don't you want to see her reaction tonight when I announce that you are my husband?
We may have lost the battle, but now it's time to prepare for war.
I can't take all of you at once, but I sure as hell will take a bunch of you down with me. Or you let me prove to you who I am and why I'm here. All right. Who's hungry? Whenever she touches me, the pain just disappears.
I've been too good my entire life. I want to feel free.
I want to do things to you. Bad things.
It's because I want you.
You have a curfew. How would you like to turn our fake marriage into a true love story?
I've waited so patiently for you. I never lost hope.
Daddy! You lied to him and you sabotaged our marriage.
This makes me feel safe.
Let's go home.
We failed you. Horribly. But that ends now.
Even wilted flowers can bloom again someday.
Our work has just begun.
Okay. It's soap opera, it's action, it's Hallmark, it's Bridgerton, it's 50 Shades of Grey, it's ER, it's Brokeback Mountain. And your work has just begun. What are you guys doing here? So Rachel, just give us a bit of this. Like, what is Crazy Maple Studio, the production, the arm behind all of that? How is it associated with Real Short? What is this ecosystem being built here?
Yeah, I'm so happy you asked that because a lot of people ask what's the association between Crazy Maple Studio and Real Short. So Crazy Maple Studio is the company. We own a different types of entertainment apps from different mediums and formats, and one of them happens to be Real Short. We do have other apps, however, so a lot of people get surprised when I tell them that, but we have other apps like Chapters and My Fiction that really helped us build all our really strong storylines into Real Short. And we'll get a little bit about what that ecosystem looks like from a business perspective. But Crazy Maple Studio is basically the company that hosts all the entertainment apps that we work with.
And Jocelyn, what is vertical video? What is a micro drama? And like, what sort of makes that different from traditional formats?
Yeah, sure. I can answer that. I see this is the, like a merge question. So first of all, like from a physical production standpoint, like vertical production is actually like very similar to traditional TV or film. We have a script, we prep it, we shoot it. That part hasn't changed at all. What has changed is just the way that we tell stories is very different. Like here at Real Short, we rebuild the storytelling specifically for mobile. And our stories are designed around how people actually consume the content today. So it's primarily through our mobile devices, through our phones. So vertical storytelling is built for like how people naturally hold and watch on their phone. And that changes everything about storytelling, the framing, the pacing, the emotional proximity, and then how quickly a story needs to grab the audience's attention. So like I see people talk about like vertical and micro drama in an interchangeable term. Personally, I see vertical more as the format, it's just how you watch it. And micro drama is this deep content, like what are you watching? So micro dramas are these like dense capsule, high impact narrative episodes, and they're very emotional driven, almost like you have to ride a roller coaster in 1 or 2 minutes. And then every episode needs to have a clear peak, a strong hook, a very surprising twist. So it's intimate, is immediate, and is very momentum driven. And I heard people talking about like, so when you're watching a TV show or film, it's kind of this like lean back experience. But when you're watching a vertical microdrama, it's kind of lean in. You actually have to dive into the screen. And if you're hooked, you have to binge watch through it. So that's how I see it.
And they're strung out like the length of a movie or a series is released in 60-second increments. And like how long does the whole end up being?
I would say each of the title, like a complete show, will be more like a feature length. We have 60 minutes, 90 minutes. Some of the titles are a little longer, about like 110 minutes, but each episode is definitely 1 to 2 minutes. So like they're chopped up into the small bites.
Yeah. And Rachel, you have your own app. Like, yes, Crazy Maple is larger, but like you're only able to access the content on the app. And how do you access it? Just so people understand.
So we are a mobile entertainment app. You can download it on the App Store on Google as well. And we're a content platform. So we write our own content, we produce our own content, and we also license our own content. So it's just a lot of different types of entertainment on the app, that different genres, but they're all micro dramas produced vertically.
And so that ecosystem of chapters in your other apps was one of the things, and sort of this feedback loop was one of the things that really caught my eye about what you guys do about 2 years ago. Rachel and I met at Tribeca X 2 years ago. And that was the first time we met. You're going to be at Brand Storytelling this coming month with like a Maybelline microdrama, which is branded like, this has evolved in like a 2-year time period a lot. And at the beginning, I remember being fascinated with this, like the sourcing of the material, like I think from some of your other websites or apps, and then this like feedback loop from data. Like you recognize that if episode 3 didn't work, you would actually reshoot it. Can you talk a bit more about the roots and sort of where you guys are going?
Yeah, I absolutely love telling this story. Once I started coming on board on Real Short, I knew that I wanted to kind of dedicate to this intention, just because everything was so different and so open and so creative, which was something that I feel like Hollywood really needed. A lot of creativity, a lot of momentum, a lot of intention. And that's kind of why we're moving so quickly and why we're expanding so quickly, because we're so open to different types of creativity and learning from that. So when we first started, our Theo started in the library, and he created this platform literally from 2 employees to now having more than 1,000 employees globally. And then that's outside from vendor productions that we have. But something that makes us grow so quickly is that we learn. We learn from our content. So when we first started, I told you that, and we would tell anyone that we would tell our story about, we would say that if there was a show and we needed to improve it, we would look at the feedback loop, we would look at our audience, we would look how they engaged in it, how they loved the content, and we would fix it. And then we would improve it and make it better, until now we're doing that with different genres and different storylines, and really focusing on what creates a good story. Always having the intention of the format, which is the phone at hand, at the top of our mind. And that allows us to evolve and grow and try different concepts, try different storylines, but always having that feedback loop that we get to learn from it and we get to expand it. We also use our other apps, like Chapters is an interactive gaming app. So we're able to use that in our storylines. There's a lot of stories that you'll see on the Chapters app that you can play along, but then you can watch them on Real Short, like Breaking Ice. Breaking the Ice is one of our hits. You can play the game, but you can also watch the story. And we're able to use that feedback loop from our different apps and also from our audience, because our audience is first. We use the data in order to keep our audience at the forefront and make sure that we continue to create things that they want to watch and that they want to engage with.
So Jocelyn, how does that affect the production. I mean, one of the reasons you were able to have this like real-time feedback is how fast these series come out. Like they come out in such a time base that you actually had sort of a production pipeline in place that you could then like reshoot something, right? Like tell me about the actual production process and how it works.
Yeah, of course. So in early days, we did study from our data a lot. Like we learn from it, the algorithm. We know that what is going to be the best pacing, structure, story format, and also genres from the audience's feedback. But nowadays, learning the data is just the foundation of the production side. Like from the production side, like we know this would work from the marketing perspective, and then we would try to combine with the audience's insight, the creativity, the aesthetic into productions, along with our stable production cycle. So each of our production titles, from development to the show got released, the average cycle time is about 3 to 4 months. And that is because within the short period of time, we can try different genres. We can expand the different genres. We'll take some of the romance, some of the thriller, we'll combine them together, we release it. If it's not working, we'll change it to a romance, to an action film. So it's kind of like trying that genres within the short period of time, getting the timely feedback from the audiences. Even from the comments, we have like a group of like, it's sort of like a focus group, fan based from our Facebook group. There are like over, I think, 10,000 people in there giving timely feedback about, I like this actor, I like this plot, I love this line. And they even made like really cute posts about like some of the dialogues we put in the contents. So in this way, we're able to create more genres. We're able to create more titles in like half of a year or so. And I think that really helps us to evolve and grow so fast.
It's really wild because, there's fandoms, there's niche stuff like that, but like, it's like somehow you are able to distill and actualize that in real time, which I think is really impressive. And how many titles or series are we talking about? And, over the course of a year?
I think in 2025, including like all our productions produced all of the regions, we're over 400 titles. And this year we're aiming to produce even more. So it's kind of like a crazy number to talk about.
But have you learned anything? Like now you've got a well-oiled machine. Like, are there certain genres that perform best in vertical? And how are you expanding your slate based on that?
I think people probably like know that romance is the very entry point for us when we're in the vertical realm. And it is because like romantic stories work really, really well with the vertical format. People love it. People love the emotional hook and everything. But like since 2025, we've tried so many different genres. There is male-centric genres, and there are like LGBTQ+. There's also thrillers, suspense, action-driven. And I can give you so many great titles about it. There is The American Sniper, there is Bound by Honor, there is The Prince's First Love, there's also The Wars. And we have already been trying the new genres, and this year we're just even trying more. There's more exciting genres coming up. There are like sci-fi, and there is also like, more YA, young adults content. So I think this is an exciting year for us.
Rachel, what do you say to that? Like, where's Real Short at now from that sort of early phase testing to like, what's it look like now for what you guys are building and where are you going?
Yeah, when I met you 2 years ago at Tribeca, we were setting up the platform, like Jocelyn said, and we were testing different things. But now we have expanded not only in scale, but also in genre. In 2026, The Hollywood Reporter predicted that we were going to expand in different directions, including like sci-fi, like she said, more male-centric storylines, just because we focused a lot on romance when we first started, and we really built a strong core audience around that. And now we're dabbling into just looking at what this vertical format can look like in other genres. Like she mentioned, we just released our mystery. We stepped into unscripted. We're doing something that I'm really proud of. We're doing adaptations. So we're taking proven IP and adapting it, working with authors and bringing that to screen. I think something that 2 years ago, a lot of people questioned if the format can evolve to this capacity and to this expansion. And it's really nice to see it. And it's nice to see how fast it's growing. And how, not only the content is growing, but the creativity and also the business.
Yeah. You're ramping up in Latin America. Tell me a little bit about that, Rachel. Like what's yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jocelyn can speak a little bit about how we're ramping up domestically, but we're not only going like blowing up and booming domestically, all producing all over around the United States, but we're also starting to co-produce in other areas of the world. Not only co-produce, but create in different ways, like distributing. We're looking at distributing in the APAC region. We're producing in Latin America, and we're adapting storylines that work very well in the US, that we know that the audience really engages really well with, and then adapting it to different cultures. So for instance, Breaking the Ice right now was one of our hits, and we adapted that into Latin America. And instead of having a hockey player, we adapted it to be a football player. And we adapted the language to make sure that the region and everyone around make sure they connected with it. And then we said, okay, this storyline works really well with the audience in the US, and it works in Latin America. Where else can we do it? And we did it in Japan, and instead we made him a baseball player. And
it's like the same storyline. You have the same emotional arcs and beats, and you just change it sort of culturally.
Adapting it culturally. So we test so many different things. Like Jocelyn said, it's so much creativity in so many different ways. And it's really our mission here, that storytelling is universal, and it's a universal language. It's something that we all connect with, and we all have human emotions and connect with each other, and storytelling and connect with, the stories that our family tells us, that we watch on TV, that so it's something that we can all connect with if adapted in the culture that we're able to understand it in.
That's just wild from a production standpoint, though, Jocelyn. Like, to me, it's like, I want to know what your day-to-day slate looks like how it works. Like, how many producers do you guys have? Do you run certain, like, verticals? Like, give us more insight into the actual, like, making this happen.
Of course. So like here at Real Short, we do have our in-houses team producing, and then we also have the vendor production side, where my department handles more of the vendor production side. We collaborated with like over 50 vendors nationwide within the US, and then that helps us to build a lot of those wallows and titles, and we're able to bring the number of the title, which is like a crazy number to achieve in a year. And at the same time, we're also working with studios that are more aiming for like more branded contents or internationally market. So like our day-to-day is I think every the producers in this are like kind of know it. Like every day we will look at our pipeline, we'll look at our slate, and we select the titles that are green light, and we just put them in the pipeline for production. So it's continue going, and it is like fast paced for sure, because just how fast the turnaround is. But it is exciting. I think it's a very thrilling, work environment, working style of producing verticals.
So one of the things that I've sort of seen happen in production in general is we have these classic skill sets, which is how to produce whether it's vertical or traditional. But in the digital space, like on TikTok, there's digital showrunners that are just like adept at producing digital shows. What would you say to people that are actually interested in getting into vertical video production? Is it the same skill set, or like what are you looking for when you're hiring vendors? Like, are they doing similar things, or are you just if they can make a normal thing, you think it works?
Yeah, I can speak up that. So for us, just like vendors, we're still looking at their backgrounds where they need to have experience in industry producing more traditional format, like either TV shows, films, or commercials. We're very also open to people who are working in a more like new media format. So, this is a combine of everything. Going back to our theme is about the original. It is about innovative. So like we have vendors who are more like from a traditional background, where they have produced in the industry for over 10 or 20 years. But we also have these like content creator, like they understand the fast paced storyline, and they're able to bring in some of the innovative ideas. So I would say like we're pretty open to all kinds of vendors, and it just like a matter like if we can make the storytelling works.
Yeah. And Rachel, so at Brand Storage, so you guys just did a thing with Maybelline. Like, so what is sort of what's next? Like, what you have collaborations coming up with lots of different folks. What are the concrete sort of tidbits that we're going to start to see coming from this genre?
So, like Jocelyn said, we're the new kids on the block, but we have this immense pressure to lead the way and create more opportunities for everyone to get involved. We're always creating different pathways to see how we can collaborate. We just launched like a contest to see how what you can do in 90 seconds in a short period of time. So we wanted to open that up to all creativity. And we really appreciate the growth that we're creating in every direction from a writing perspective. You know, we see that our talents are also growing. We're making stars. So I think just looking for more ways to collaborate creatively, not only from a content perspective, from a production perspective, from a talent perspective, and also working with brands. Recently, we worked with Maybelline. They released their microdrama. They saw the potential in the microdrama space, and they released the microdrama at the same time they released a trailer. So we'll be speaking with them at Brand Storytelling. We'll have someone from our team that will be there at Brand Storytelling and kind of engaging with brands and letting them know that we want to work with them. I know that you'll be there, Amanda, so that'll be exciting to kind of see 2 years later the evolution in person. I know you saw us back in Tribeca X, and now you'll see us at Brand Storytelling, and you'll get to see like all the cool things that we're doing. I think it's just a lot of collaboration.
Yeah, and it's just like it's a new format, and I'm glad you're testing the boundaries of genre with it to be able to sort of prove that this is an addictive way to receive content, and and the feedback loop is also probably here to stay. Like, people have to be able to respond to their audiences no matter what they're putting out, or at least really integrate that. So I think it's just a really interesting microcosm, I think, of how that works. But the things that people don't know fully about the other apps is like, those are like fan fiction sites too. It's like people are writing their own stuff. So, right. So there's this sort of, it's an engaged base that is really giving you feedback, which I think is fascinating.
Yeah, and it's integration in all aspects because you know, we're integrating with brands, we're integrating with authors, we're also creating pathways for if you have a good book, sometimes you can't see your book to screen. So we're creating avenues for authors to come on board as well. So the feedback really helps us all grow and helps us all kind of create and keep the story at the forefront, which is the most important thing, I think, in entertainment.
Yeah. Wait, so we've talked about sort of the evolution of the creative side of the genre. Tell me a bit more about the actual app. It's not like on Instagram or TikTok. People pay, they have tokens. Like, explain how the process, Jocelyn, for them get to the end of your series.
Rachel, do you want to speak on that?
So we're an app. A lot of people confuse us for like TikTok movies. And like you said, it's a lot of a combination of a lot of different forms of entertainment. And like some people compare us to like social media. Some people compare us to like TikTok movies, but we're actually an app. And we actually create specifically for the format. Something my operations manager says, and they repeat all the time in productions, is that if the phone is a triangle, we'll start creating in that format. And it's because we put that intention of where you're watching and how you're watching and how you're engaging at the forefront. And like I said, everything that we do is content first. How can we develop the content? How can we develop the entertainment? How can this collaboration create more avenues for creativity? So I think just going back, the app, you download the app and you can engage with the content. The first 10 episodes are usually free. Like the first 7 to 10 episodes are usually free. So you can consider that similar to like receiving a trailer when you're about to watch a movie. And then the rest of the episodes, you can either watch ads or pay for a subscription. You either have the option of paying for a subscription, a monthly subscription, which gives you a limited watching, or you can pay weekly or buy coins. So there's different ways to engage with the app. You can pay as you go, or you can subscribe. But it's an app in itself that hosts content. It's not like something that you watch just on social media or, yeah.
Okay, well, we've just sort of framed out for everyone new types of genres that are happening, new formats for delivering work, like how you guys are building out a space. I think there are probably a bunch of questions in the group about the nitty gritty of how the app functions, the nitty gritty of how people are making this. I would love to see if we have some questions for the group that we could dig into and share, because there's a lot of knowledge on this call. So just in terms of process, does Real Short ever act as a distributor, or is all of your content in-house produced? From Craig Liu.
We do license contents from other studios as well. So we do work as a distributor, and I'm not sure if the distributor is the correct word for it, but like we have our original contents produced in-house. We also purchase other shows. We also have co-financing. There's a lot of business model we can go with in terms of like having the contents produced.
And then you sort of run it through your own machine. It needs to format in a certain way. Okay.
Yeah.
Got pings. There's more comments. All right. Do you see this is from Brian Knapmiller. Do you see a path for documentary or other genres to move into the vertical format? He's mentioned unscripted. So yeah.
I definitely do think, from my perspective, that documentaries can work. Like this year, we'll be stepping into different genres, and I hope that we try documentaries. Maybe in the late pipeline, Jocelyn, you can let us know what you think creatively. But I hope to see a documentary vertically, like a vertical.
I think it's definitely will happen somewhere in the near future. And if you go to our app, there is a category section called movies. And there we do license a lot of like shows, movies, documentaries. And we put it up there because we want to learn like how people are engaging to those contents, if it's possible to convert those into vertical format. So I think it definitely will happen.
It's really interesting though, because of the need for those emotional beats in such a short time period. It's like the documentary has to be on fast forward or something to get just the moments that are really gonna hook you, as opposed to like the one reveal. But also interesting, you just put it up there. See, maybe there's a different arc for that. That genre that actually still pays, which would be the human mind, changes.
Mm-hmm.
From Jeff Chow, what would you say is the largest challenge of transitioning to telling stories in a micro format from traditional TV and movies, both from technical and script writing? So if you're going to take a known story, what do you look for, Jocelyn? How do you actually adapt those beats?
I think this is a great time to kind of just mention Bound by Honor again, where that one is a novel, but we're able to collaborate with the author and then change it into the vertical storytelling format. Like we change it adapt it into the script. And for the vertical shows to be working, like you really have to understand the framework, the pacing, and then where the episode hook needs to end, where is the paywall. So it's kind of like, if you look at them, it is a featureless film script, but like the design of it, the formula of it is very precisely designed and calculated. So I think the challenge is just kind of understand if that story is going to work for a specific target and audiences. But there is like, if you have a good story, the good story always sells. So that's the foundation of it.
What's your most popular one so far? Like, what is the most successful of your titles? Is there one, or is it more like a type?
Yeah, I mean, we have a couple of popular titles, like they're all listed on the app. Bound by Honor is on like our top 5. So it shows that proven IP really can can really work with the format. Right now, I'd say our top is going to be, this month is going to be Love is Dangerous Dance, and In Love with a Single Farmer. But overall, yearly, it's How to Tame a Silver Fox.
Okay. And just to also pin on this, from such a fast turnaround, Rachel, how do you market these things? How do you even get in people's brains if there's something new to watch? Or is it like, what is that strategy?
So honestly, we try different things. We do performance ads, but right now since we're producing and releasing at such a high pace, we use a lot of different techniques, like on social media, how we release our social media. PR has to be a different technique as well because we're releasing so quickly. So I think just like you said, creating a playbook and testing different techniques. Like we've tried traditional techniques recently, like out of home marketing. Like we did billboards all over LA and did like the traditional way of, putting it right in your face. But we really do different things. We work with the talent to do a lot of kind of content that connects directly with the audience. The talent team has a podcast where they interview the talent and kind of tease the show. So we're using every direction of marketing, but we do heavily performance ads. So we test how the show performs with ad campaigns.
Cool. All right, let's see what else we have from the audience. Aiden Brooks asks, does the 3 to 4 month production timeline include writing and casting? And if not, what's the additional time you add on for that layer?
And unfortunately, it is from development phase to all the way that the show is done released within that 3 to 4 month period. So
That's amazing.
It's very fast.
But I imagine that you have like all these rooms and then there's all these people coming in at all hours, or maybe
basically,
yeah. But it's like early Hollywood in the 1920s. They pumped out these reels. It was just like this. They were just making it, and all sorts of different stuff came out of it. It's kind of a fascinating, I think, return to a model of let's try this, let's experiment, let's see what works. And it really wasn't. I mean, that evolved into the Hollywood we have today. So whatever you are doing is evolving to whatever you're going to have next. I guarantee you that. All right, Sarah Proctora, I am a huge fan. Thank you for an amazing platform. What is the average age, geographic location of your audience?
So we have different like audience depending on genres, but typically we have our audiences anywhere between like 18 to 65. Our sweet spot would be like 25 to 35. And as we build different genres, we're building and differentiating between like gender. So we're starting to see like 60 to 40 around there. So 60% is female, 40% is male. Geographically, we're all over. We're globally, but primarily our US base is about like 50%.
In the US, 50%.
50% is US, and then about like 20% is in Latin, and then everywhere else. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Okay, Mark Ridley. Would you take existing content and break it down to use? I think we've sort of touched on this, and the answer is yes. You work with authors, you work with vendors, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see if we have anything else. From Emily. Jocelyn, what has been your wildest, most fun production story working with Real Short? This is probably the
I think this is a good one. Okay, so I'm gonna say Cooking My Way Back to You. That's the craziest one. That's the craziest one ever because it's the first sort of like cooking chef theme show that were produced and involve a lot of like really interesting VFX. I really encourage everyone to watch it. It's really fun. And we have to, like, of course, we have to finish that within like a really tight timeline, but we're able to pull a lot like from physical production, logistics side, very challenging elements like wrangling animals or doing the VFX, the shooting it on live, and also like putting all the costumes, props, and everything together in a short period of time. But it's so fun. Like I think everybody like should watch it. It's really fun to watch as well.
Okay, so and then I'm just browsing through their comments. I mean, I think a lot of people are wondering, how do you become a vendor? Like, is there a process? How does one collaborate with your team?
If you want to become a vendor, reach out. Reach out to me, and we can talk about it.
I mean, and I guess you would look at a reel. Like, what would you sort of want to know?
We would definitely want to look at some of the reels that this vendor production company has produced in the past. If they ever produce a vertical content, that would be a plus. If you don't have ever produced vertical content, that's totally fine. Like experience in principal, photography, production service, post-production service, you have all those resources, that would be a great point. And then also if you're interested in producing vertical content, because it's like a different mindset, it's a different mind game. But we're open to all kinds of vendors. If you are interested, please reach out. We can definitely talk about those in more details.
And you're both based in LA. Headquarters are in LA, in California. But you work with people remotely, I assume, right?
Yeah, we're based in Culver City, which is our creative hub, but our headquarters is in Silicon Valley.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, just to wrap this up, where are we going? What should people be? What are you excited about? Like with what you're seeing and what you're doing, what sort of is in the world you're in? Like what do you see as like either what's next or what's exciting to you from your particular vantage point?
I'll go first, right? I'll go first. I think I'm just very excited to the more genres we're going to produce in this year, because they're like what we put in a reel. There's so many more good stories yet to be told. And I think from a production side that we are just very, very thrilled that we can dive into those, put our creativity in there, and we'll create some more good titles for audiences.
Yeah. I will piggyback on that. I'm just really excited for 2026. I think it's going to be a really big year for Real Short, and a really big year for entertainment and creativity. And I'm excited to see like what we do and how we create. And I'm hopefully really excited to see a documentary, Jocelyn.
We'll see.
Put a pin on it, and then we'll circle back when that comes out. And I will definitely put a little like Telly Award thumbs up to that for generating it in this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And Amanda, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate this conversation and you watching the evolution and being such an expert in entertainment and watching all that.
We appreciate you guys too. I mean, we added vertical video this year because it's happening. That's one thing the Tellys can do, right? We are here to make sure that our categories are meeting people where they're making stuff. And so when we're seeing stuff like that, it's like, all right, we're going to figure out how to create the right level of expertise around it. And it comes from people leading the charge and actually producing it. So I think we have a few members of your team on our executive judging council. They will be looking over those categories if you're entering. So I think just a final slide, which is thank you all for coming. The Tellys is open for entries through February 20th. That's our final deadline. We have tons of categories in online shows and series, in social, in drama, in romance, and in vertical video. So if you're interested in that, you can scan the QR code and my team can give you personalized category recommendations, but also we'll connect you to Rachel and Jocelyn. If they have any follow-up materials, we'll email those out to you guys. So thank you all for coming. Our next Throughline event is going to be next month with the team from Popeyes and their viral garlic bonding campaign. It's on our events hub on the website. But thank you guys so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.